The champagne glass slipped from Ethan Caldwell's hand before anyone understood why the little girl was screaming. "That's my mommy." 7-year-old Lily Caldwell tore away from her nanny and ran across the ballroom, dodging guests. Every face at the Children's First Gala turned toward her. So did the cameras. But Lily saw only the banquet server kneeling beside an elderly dishwasher who had cut his palm. Hannah Brooks had wrapped the man's hand in her clean apron. She was telling him he would not lose his shift when two small arms locked around her neck. "Mommy," Lily sobbed. "I knew you weren't dead." Hannah froze. The silver tray beside her tipped, scattering bread rolls across the marble. She had never seen the child before. Yet Lily's blue eyes, the dimple beside her mouth, and the curl above her left eyebrow struck Hannah like memories she had never been allowed to make. Across the room, Ethan stared at Hannah. A red line of champagne ran over his hand, but he did not notice. He knew that face. It was the face in the photograph his sister Caroline had hidden inside a locked music box. The photograph marked, "Find Hannah Brooks. Tell her I'm sorry." Dr. Richard Hale reached Hannah before Ethan did. The respected chairman of the hospital foundation smiled for the guests while his fingers closed hard around Hannah's elbow. "This employee is confused," he announced. "Please take the child upstairs." Hannah pulled free. "Don't touch me." Lily gripped Hannah's uniform. Around her neck hung a silver chain. On it was a tiny yellow knitted baby shoe, flattened with age. Hannah stopped breathing. 7 years earlier, while pregnant and alone, she had knitted 2 yellow booties during night shifts at a laundromat. After an emergency delivery at St. Catherine's Hospital, Dr. Hale had sat beside her bed and said her daughter had never taken a breath. The hospital returned Hannah's clothes, a bill, and only 1 yellow booty. She had kept it in a tin beneath her bed because burying it felt like burying her baby twice. With shaking fingers, Hannah drew its match from beneath her collar. The room disappeared behind a wall of flashes. "Where did you get that?" she whispered. "Aunt Caroline gave it to me." Lily touched Hannah's cheek as if checking that she was real. "She said my first mommy made it." Hannah looked at Ethan. "Who is Caroline?" "My sister. She raised Lily until she died 5 years ago." His voice sounded unfamiliar even to him. "I became Lily's guardian." Dr. Hale stepped between them. "Ethan, this is neither the time nor the place." "You told me Hannah Brooks was dead," Ethan said. The warmth left Hale's smile. "According to the file, she is." Hannah heard the insult beneath the answer. Poor women disappeared easily on paper. A typed line could erase a birth, a name, a lifetime. 2 security guards approached. Ethan lifted one hand and they stopped. Hannah could have begged. Instead, she stood, still holding Lily's hand. "I want a DNA test. Tonight." Hale gave a soft laugh. "Any stranger can carry a matching trinket." Lily turned on him with surprising courage. "She isn't a stranger." Then Lily began humming 4 uneven notes. Hannah's knees nearly failed. It was the unfinished lullaby she had sung into her belly when the baby kicked after midnight. No recording existed. No one had heard it except Hannah, her unborn child, and a young maternity nurse who used to pause outside her door. "Her name was Caroline," Hannah whispered. Ethan's face changed. For years he had believed his sister's last months were a mystery caused by grief. Now a dead woman, a living mother, and a frightened child were connected in front of him. Hale signaled to security again. This time Ethan stepped beside Hannah. "No one removes either of them," he said. "Lock the ballroom doors. And someone call an independent doctor." Hannah looked down at Lily, who pressed the 2 yellow booties together in her small palm. They matched perfectly. But before hope could enter Hannah's heart, Lily whispered, "Mommy, why did Aunt Caroline say the bad man would come if I ever found you?" The independent clinic opened after midnight because Ethan owned the building, but Hannah refused the private entrance he offered. "Lily has spent enough time being moved through back doors," she said. Ethan studied her borrowed coat and worn shoes. Most people changed when they learned his name. Hannah had not even asked what his companies were worth. She asked the nurse 3 times whether the DNA swab would hurt Lily. "It tickles," Lily promised, trying to comfort her. Hannah smiled, and Ethan saw Lily's dimple appear on another face. The test would take 12 hours. Until then, the clinic advised that Lily remain in Ethan's custody. Hannah accepted the rule, but when Lily's hand tightened around hers, she knelt. "I'm not disappearing," she said. "You don't have to call me mommy yet. Hannah is enough until we know." "I know," Lily replied. "The grown-ups are the ones who don't." On the drive to Ethan's house, Lily insisted Hannah come with them. Hale had already suspended Hannah from the catering company for disrupting the gala, so she had nowhere else to be. Ethan sat across from her in the limousine, looking less like a billionaire than a tired man protecting the only person he loved. "Why did you believe I was dead?" Hannah asked. Ethan unlocked his phone and showed her a scanned certificate. Hannah Brooks, deceased from an overdose 6 years earlier. Hannah did not flinch. "I've never used drugs." Caroline left no explanation. "Just your photograph, the booty, and that certificate." "Then she left enough to make you curious." His jaw tightened. "I was raising a grieving 2-year-old and burying my sister." The words landed harshly. Lily lowered her eyes. Hannah did not answer anger with anger. She took a paper napkin from the console and folded it into a little bird. She placed it on Lily's knee until the child smiled. Lily balanced it on one finger and the tension inside the limousine softened. Ethan watched, ashamed. "You're right. I should have looked harder." At the Caldwell house, Lily led Hannah past museum-sized rooms to a small bedroom crowded with books, crayons, and stuffed animals. Money had bought Lily everything except the answer she wanted. From beneath her pillow, Lily pulled out a picture book called The Lantern Girl. Caroline's handwriting filled the margins. Beside an illustration of a mother crossing a dark forest, she had written, "A true light does not own the person it guides. It helps her find home." Inside the back cover was the photograph Ethan remembered. It showed a pregnant Hannah asleep in a hospital chair, one hand over her belly. A young nurse stood behind her, adjusting a blanket around her shoulders. "Caroline." Hannah touched the image. "She worked nights. She brought me crackers when I couldn't pay the cafeteria. Once, she sat with me through a panic attack." Ethan looked at his sister's gentle hand in the photograph. "She never told me. Maybe she was trying to before she died." Lily opened a wooden music box. The unfinished lullaby chimed through the room, now completed with a tender second phrase. "Aunt Caroline said my first mommy wrote the beginning," Lily said. "She wrote the ending so I could always get back." Hannah's tears came without warning. She did not pull Lily into them. She turned away, giving the child freedom from a stranger's grief. Lily crossed the space herself and hugged Hannah's waist. Ethan looked toward the hall. His own mother had treated tenderness like weakness. Caroline had been the one who softened every hard room. In Hannah he recognized the same quiet strength. His phone buzzed. The caterer had released security footage to the press. Headlines already called Hannah an opportunist who had staged the scene. Then a second message arrived, from Hale. "End this before morning," it read. "The child cannot survive another scandal." Ethan showed Hannah. She read it twice. He didn't say Lily. He said the child. Before Ethan could answer, something struck the bedroom window. A stone lay on the carpet beside shattered glass. Wrapped around it was Hannah's hospital bracelet from 7 years ago. On the plastic, someone had written one word in red ink. "Liar." Police found no fingerprints on the stone. By sunrise, reporters packed the gates, repeating details only the hospital could have known. Hannah's grandmother arrived in a city bus before Ethan's driver could reach her. Ruth Brooks was 76, 5 feet tall, and furious enough to silence the front hall. She cupped Lily's face and searched it carefully. Then she opened an old wallet and removed Hannah's first-grade photograph. "Same eyebrow," Ruth said. Her voice broke. "Same brave little chin." Lily looked at Hannah. "Is she my grandma?" Ruth held out her hand instead of taking the child. "Only if you want me." Lily stepped into her arms. For one warm minute, no one spoke about tests, lawyers, or headlines. Ethan watched Ruth slip 2 wrapped peppermints into Lily's pocket. She had brought the child the only gift she could afford, and Lily received it like treasure. Ruth had saved those candies for herself, yet gave both without mentioning she had skipped breakfast that morning. Then 3 attorneys entered. Ethan's lead lawyer, Margaret Shaw, explained that Hannah should sign a confidentiality agreement until the DNA results arrived. It offered temporary housing, legal support, and $50,000. Hannah slid the papers back. Does taking this make me easier to call a liar? It protects Lily, Margaret said. Silence protected whoever stole her. Ethan asked the attorneys to leave. The offer was mine, not Hale's. That doesn't make it right. I'm trying to control the damage. That's the problem. Everyone keeps controlling the room Lily is in. Hannah did not want his house or his money. She wanted her old maternity file, the names of every nurse on duty, and the truth about why her child had a living room full of toys while she had spent 7 years speaking to one yellow booty. Ethan made 3 calls. St. Catherine's claimed the records were destroyed in a flood. The county registrar said Hannah's signature appeared on an adoption consent. The signature looked accurate. I signed forms while medicated, Hannah said. They told me one released the body for burial. Ruth struck the table with her palm. There was no burial. I asked for a grave until they threatened to have Hannah committed. Lily, coloring nearby, stopped moving her crayon. Hannah changed the subject at once. Sweetheart, would you show Grandma your paper bird? After Lily left, Hannah faced Ethan. No more of this where she can hear. He nodded. She was protecting Lily even when every new fact tore her open. At noon, Hale arrived without invitation. He carried a leather folder and the sadness of a trusted family doctor. Ethan, Caroline was unstable after the adoption, he said. She became obsessed with a patient who lost a baby. Hannah fed that obsession. Hannah placed her phone face down on the table. Its recorder was running. Hale offered her a sealed envelope. Inside was a check for $2 million. Start again somewhere quiet, he said. A public custody war will destroy the girl. Hannah tore the check once, then again. My daughter is not a winning lottery ticket. Hale's sympathy disappeared. You live above a tire shop. You have medical debt. You were dismissed from emergency services training for theft. Ethan turned to her. Hannah met his eyes. I reported missing pain medication. Hale chaired the review. The drugs appeared in my locker. More accusations, Hale said. Hannah lifted her phone. And now one recorded bribe. For the first time Hale looked afraid. He moved toward her, but Ethan blocked him. Leave my house. If you choose this woman over your family's reputation, the board will remove you. Ethan opened the door. Then they had better schedule a meeting. The DNA call came minutes later. Hannah sat beside Lily as the doctor spoke on video. The probability of maternity was greater than 99.99%. Ruth covered her mouth. Ethan closed his eyes. Hannah simply reached for Lily, then stopped halfway. Lily closed the distance. Hi, Mommy, she whispered. Hi, my rose. Lily pulled back. My name is Lily. Hannah swallowed her grief. Then Lily is your name. Ethan's lawyer called again. The DNA result had triggered an emergency custody petition from Dr. Hale, acting through the hospital foundation. He alleged Hannah was dangerous and Ethan was obstructing child welfare. The hearing was set for the next morning. Then Margaret said something worse. Hale filed Caroline's psychiatric records. There's a statement in them, signed by Ethan, saying she was delusional about a stolen baby. Ethan did not deny the signature. 5 years earlier, Caroline had come to Ethan's office soaked and terrified, saying Lily was stolen. She begged him to hide a box and help her find Hannah. I thought grief had broken her, he admitted. Hale said she was paranoid. I signed the commitment request because he promised she would be safe. And 3 days later? Hannah asked. She took Lily and drove away from the clinic. Her car went through a barrier. The shame on his face did not soften Hannah. You handed your sister to the man she feared. Yes. He did not defend himself. That single word carried 5 years of sleepless nights. At the emergency hearing, Hale used Hannah's debts and disciplinary report to demand foundation custody. Hannah's lawyer argued that the foundation was part of the accusation. Ethan submitted the DNA result and Hale's recorded offer. The judge rejected Hale's custody request, but ordered Lily to remain at Ethan's house under supervision until the evidence could be examined. Outside the courtroom, reporters shouted whether Hannah planned to sue for millions. She stopped at the microphones. "My daughter is not damages. She is a person. Please stop filming her bedroom windows." Then she walked away. That afternoon, Ethan remembered Caroline's request to hide a box. He had refused to take it, but she had left a brass key in his coat. He still kept it with her belongings. The key opened a storage locker near the old train station. Inside stood a child's wooden chair, 3 nursing uniforms, a cassette recorder, and a blue metal file box. Hannah's name was written across the lid. Ethan reached for it. "Wait," Hannah said. "If this is about my child, I open it." He gave her the key. The box held copies of birth logs, payment codes, and photographs of 6 pregnant women. Each woman was poor, alone, or new to the city. Beside every name was the same doctor, Richard Hale. At the bottom lay a sealed letter and a cassette labeled for Hannah and Ethan, together. The old recorder clicked. Caroline's voice filled the locker. "Hannah, I need to tell you the part that makes me a coward." Hannah gripped the table. Caroline explained that Hale had recruited her as a young nurse. He told her wealthy adoptive families were rescuing babies whose mothers had abandoned them. The hospital received donations. Staff received bonuses. Caroline believed him until Hannah woke after surgery and begged to hold the daughter Hale claimed was dead. "I heard your baby crying in the next room," Caroline said on the tape. "I signed the transfer form anyway." Hannah shut off the recorder. The silence felt violent. Ethan's eyes filled. "I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't return 7 years." "No." She almost left. Then she saw Caroline's nursing badge inside the box. A tiny paper bird was tucked behind the photograph. Hannah had folded it for Caroline during a night when the nurse confessed she was afraid of becoming like the people above her. Hannah turned the tape on again. Caroline said she followed the buyers and stole the baby back before the adoption was completed. Hale threatened to send them both to prison. Terrified, Caroline registered Lily as a private adoption and raised her under Ethan's protection. She told herself she was waiting until she had proof. Years passed. Love made her more afraid to lose Lily, not more courageous. "I became her mother," Caroline wept, "but I kept stealing every day I stayed silent." Lily's lullaby played faintly in the background. Then Caroline named a former records clerk, June Bell, who had hidden the original delivery ledger. She said Hale learned about June and was searching for her. The tape ended with a message to Ethan. "You will want to fix this with power. Don't. Stand beside Hannah when she chooses what justice means. And if she hates me, let her. She earned the truth." Ethan sat on the concrete floor. The sister he worshipped had saved Lily and betrayed Hannah. Both truths had to live together. Hannah placed the 2 yellow booties beside Caroline's badge. "She was afraid," she said. "So was I. The difference is I wasn't given a choice." "What do you want to do?" Ethan asked. It was the first time he had asked instead of deciding. "Find June. Protect Lily. Then open every file in that box." Ethan nodded. Their alliance was no longer built on suspicion. It was built on a painful truth neither could carry alone. His phone rang before they left the locker. The Caldwell board had removed him as chief executive. Hale had also obtained an order sealing Caroline's evidence as stolen medical property. And when they returned home, a child welfare car was waiting to take Lily away. Mrs. Alvarez looked ashamed. With Caroline's files sealed, Lily would spend 72 hours with a foster family. Lily backed into Ethan. "Did I do something bad?" Hannah knelt, though every part of her wanted to tear the paper in half. "None of this is because of you." "Then why can't I stay with my family?" No adult had an honest answer small enough for a child. Hannah packed Lily's pajamas. Ethan added the stuffed fox Caroline had given her. They both reached for the lantern girl then stopped. "You take it," Ethan told Hannah. Hannah placed it in Lily's bag. "It belongs with her." At the door, Lily removed the yellow booty from her chain and pressed it into Ethan's palm. She gave Hannah the matching one. "Now you both have to come get me," she said. After the car disappeared, Ruth turned on Ethan. "Your signature gave Hale the weapon." "Grandma," Hannah warned. He had money. Lawyers. The sister begging him. We had none of those things. Ethan accepted every word. "You're right. Stop saying that as if it cost you enough." He walked outside without his coat. Hannah found him sitting on the front steps, the knitted booty enclosed in his fist. "Ruth is defending me," she said. "But pain can make protection cruel. I signed Caroline away. Maybe Lily is safer without me." Hannah sat beside him. "That sounds noble, but it's still you deciding for her." The next morning Margaret brought an offer from Hale. He would withdraw his complaints and release Hannah's employment record if she accepted a private settlement and gave up any claim involving other hospital cases. Ethan would regain his company if he discredited Caroline's tape. They had until 6 that evening. Hannah could reclaim Lily, her career, and enough money to keep Ruth from choosing between rent and heart medicine. Ethan could recover thousands of employees' jobs placed at risk by the board fight. The price was 6 women's names inside a blue box. Ethan placed the agreement in the fireplace. Hannah stopped him before he lit it. "We keep it as evidence." Even then she was thinking past rage. Hale answered Hannah's refusal by releasing her disciplinary file. Television hosts called her a drug thief. Strangers posted photographs of her apartment. The tire shop owner gave her 1 day to leave because customers were being harassed. Ruth's pharmacy canceled her credit. Ethan quietly paid the bill, but Hannah made him record it as a loan for $1. At supervised visitation, Lily sat between them in a bright county room. She had not slept. She pushed away a plate of cookies and asked whether adults could stop being someone's parents. Ethan's voice failed. Hannah answered, "Adults can fail. Love doesn't vanish when they do." Lily opened the lantern girl. A corner of the back lining had come loose. Beneath it was a hand-drawn map with a red star over St. Catherine's old maternity chapel. Caroline had written, "The light is safest where promises were first broken." Hannah showed Ethan, but the supervisor took the book. The judge had sealed all items connected to Caroline. That afternoon Ethan made his sacrifice. At the custody conference, he offered to surrender his guardianship if the court would place Lily directly with Hannah instead of foster care. "She should not pay for my mistakes," he said. Hannah could have remained silent. Her lawyer's hand tightened around her arm. Instead Hannah stood. "I object." The judge looked surprised. "Lily lost one mother to fear and another to fraud. I will not make her lose the father who packed every lunch and sat beside every fever. Test me. Supervise me. But don't call his love disposable." Ethan looked down, fighting tears. The judge granted Hannah daily visitation and ordered an expedited investigation, but Lily remained in foster care pending the search for June Bell. In the hall Ethan asked, "Why would you protect my place after what I did?" "Because Lily loves you. Justice that breaks her to reward me isn't justice." He briefly rested his forehead against hers. It promised nothing, only held 2 exhausted people upright. At 6, Hale appeared on television. He denied the bribery and announced that June Bell had died 3 years earlier. He displayed a death notice. Their last witness was gone. Hannah finally broke. In Ethan's empty kitchen, she sank to the floor and pressed the booty to her mouth so Lily's name would not become a scream. Ethan sat beside her. He did not tell her to be strong. He stayed while she mourned the birth, birthdays, and bedtime stories stolen from her. Ruth came in quietly and placed Caroline's paper bird between them. "I was wrong," she told Ethan. "Regret is costing you. Just don't waste the price." Mrs. Alvarez called after midnight. The foster parents had found Lily's window open. The stuffed fox was on the bed. Her shoes and coat were gone. On the pillow lay a page torn from the lantern girl. It showed a child carrying one small light toward a dark hospital. Hannah and Ethan reached St. Catherine's before the police. The maternity wing was closed for renovation. Plastic sheets moved. Hannah ran past the room where Hale said Rose had died. Caroline's star pointed toward the chapel. A narrow beam shone beneath the chapel door. Hannah found Lily curled behind the last pew, holding an electric candle from the altar. Her hands were blue with cold. "I came to find the proof," Lily said. "Then nobody would have to give me away." Hannah wrapped her in her coat. Listen to me. Finding proof is an adult job. Loving you is not a job at all. We do that wherever you are. Ethan crouched beside them. I should have told you that before you had to ask. Lily touched his cheek. Are you still my dad? As long as you want me. Forever is what I want. He held both Lily and Hannah, and for the first time their grief did not pull in opposite directions. Police searched the chapel. The red star marked a brass memorial plate bearing Caroline's name. Behind it was a shallow compartment, but it was empty except for a recent bus ticket. Someone had reached the evidence first. An elderly cleaner appeared at the doorway. She introduced herself as Marta Ruiz and said a gray-haired woman had visited the chapel the previous morning. The woman saw Lily's story on television and cried beneath Caroline's plaque. She told me to give this only to the mother with the yellow shoe, Marta said. From her supply cart, she lifted a parcel wrapped in brown paper. Inside was the original delivery ledger. Hannah's daughter had been recorded as healthy, 6 pounds 4 ounces. The stillbirth notation was added later in different ink. 6 more entries followed the same pattern. A note gave an address for June Bell. She was alive. June had published her own death notice, changed her surname, and moved into a church residence after Hale's investigators found her. Caroline had warned her that a public accusation without the ledger would fail. So June waited, ashamed and frightened, while the years grew heavier. When Hannah entered her small room, June recognized her immediately. You sang 4 notes, she said. Every night. Hannah sat across from the woman who had watched her life divide in 2. Why didn't you come? June did not ask forgiveness. Because I chose my safety every morning. She opened a suitcase containing copies of canceled checks, adoption transfers, and a small video camera. On its memory card, Caroline had recorded Hale ordering staff to sedate Hannah and alter the chart. The footage also showed Caroline carrying newborn Lily through a service exit while June disabled an alarm. Truth did not make Caroline innocent. It made the whole story visible. June agreed to testify if Hannah would sit beside her. I'm afraid I'll run again. Then be afraid in the right direction, Hannah said. By afternoon, the judge returned Lily to Ethan's home with Hannah residing there under supervision. The state police took the ledger, and 6 families were notified that their histories might be false. Hale's foundation office closed. 2 board members resigned. The Caldwell directors asked Ethan to return if he separated the company from the scandal. He refused. Instead, he released a statement accepting responsibility for ignoring Caroline and placing all company records connected to Hale in investigators' hands. The stock price fell. Ethan lost another piece of the world he had built, but that evening he sat on the kitchen floor helping Lily frost a crooked cake for Hannah's first birthday as her mother. They used 7 candles, 1 for each missed year. Lily blew out 6 and pushed the cake toward Hannah. You get the last wish. Hannah looked at Ruth, June, Ethan, and the child she had once mourned alone. I think it already came. Warmth returned slowly. Lily slept with both yellow booties beside her bed. Hannah left her door open. Ethan remained in the hall until her breathing settled, and Hannah brought him coffee without asking. At dawn, Margaret arrived with news. Hale had been charged with evidence tampering and fraud, but his lawyers claimed Caroline acted alone in the baby transfers. Unless June survived cross-examination, the most serious charges could fail. Hale had also requested a public family court hearing. He intended to prove that Hannah and Ethan had manipulated Lily and contaminated every piece of evidence. He wants a spectacle, Margaret said. Hannah closed the lantern girl and stood. Then let everyone see what he did. As they entered court the next day, Hale leaned toward her. You think the ledger ends this? He whispered. Ask Ethan who paid for Caroline's car. The judge called the room to order. And Hale's first witness was Ethan's own mother. Eleanor Caldwell entered with the rigid grace of a woman who had spent her life protecting a family name. Hale's attorney asked whether Caroline suffered delusions. That is what Dr. Hale told us, Eleanor said. And Ethan purchased the car involved in her fatal crash? Yes. Murmurs filled the courtroom. Hale looked at Hannah as if the word settled everything. Then Margaret rose. Mrs. Caldwell, who arranged Caroline's treatment? Eleanor stared at her folded hands. Dr. Hale. Who told you a scandal would destroy your son's company? Dr. Hale. Who asked you to hire men to follow Caroline's car? Eleanor looked toward Ethan. He did not rescue her from the answer. Dr. Hale, she whispered. She had paid investigators through a Caldwell account. On the night Caroline died, one of them called Hale to report that she was driving toward the police station with Lily and a metal file box. Hale ordered him to stop her. The investigator chased Caroline through 2 red lights. She lost control at the bridge. I told myself I was protecting my children, Eleanor said. I protected our name instead. Hale stood. This is a desperate family rewriting grief. June Bell took the witness chair. Her hands shook so badly that Hannah sat where June could see her. June described the crying newborn, the altered form, and every morning she had chosen silence. Hale's lawyer showed her false death notice and called her a practiced liar. I did lie, June said. That is why I brought records that cannot. The delivery ledger appeared on the screen. Then Caroline's video played. Hale's younger face filled the courtroom. Give Brooks another dose, he said in the recording. The transfer family arrives at 6. No one murmured now. The state investigator confirmed Hale's fingerprints on the original chart and his payments to the driver who chased Caroline. Faced with the evidence, the driver had confessed that morning. Hale's pride finally cracked. He blamed a failing hospital, desperate adoptive parents, and mothers he believed could not provide good lives. Hannah stood only when the judge allowed her. You saw my empty wallet and decided my arms were empty too, she said. Poverty is not permission. Before deputies approached, Ethan stood. He admitted signing Caroline's commitment papers and ignoring the key she left him. He did not blame Hale. I had every resource to search, he said. Hannah had none. Yet she kept asking questions while I accepted the answer that protected my comfort. Hannah watched everyone turn toward him. Before, Ethan would have defended the Caldwell name. Now he offered the truth without bargaining for forgiveness. Lily was not there to hear him. His words were for her. I cannot change who failed you, he said. I can change who stands up now. Hale was arrested before he reached the courtroom door. Eleanor was referred for investigation. She looked at Ethan, but he turned toward Lily's empty seat instead. Forgiveness, if it came, would not erase consequence. The judge vacated the fraudulent consent naming Hannah an unfit mother. She recognized Hannah as Lily's legal parent and approved a protected reunification plan. Ethan's guardianship would continue during the transition because removing a loving parent could not repair the theft of another. Outside, Lily waited with Ruth, drawing 3 people beneath one crooked roof. Did we win? She asked. Hannah crouched beside her. We found the truth. Winning is what we do with it. Ethan offered Hannah the yellow booty he had carried since Lily left. This belongs to you. Hannah closed his fingers around it. Lily gave it to her dad. His face broke into the first unguarded smile she had seen. Months later, at the final custody hearing, the judge asked Lily what name she wanted on her restored birth certificate. Lily considered Hannah, Ethan, and the photograph of Caroline tucked inside the lantern girl. Lily Rose Brooks Caldwell, she said. Lily is who I became. Rose is who Mommy lost. Brooks found me. Caldwell kept me safe. The judge's eyes shone as she approved it. In the hall, Lily took one hand from each parent. Good, she said. Now nobody has to drop me to hold the other one. 1 year later, St. Catherine's old maternity wing opened again under a new name, Caroline House. It was not a monument to innocence. Caroline's courage came late and did not erase her harm, but her truth still helped someone find home. Caroline House offered free legal help, independent patient advocates, and emergency housing without forced surrender. 6 families from Hale's ledger received counseling. Some reunited, while others chose distance. Hannah defended those choices too. Truth opens a door, she told the staff. It doesn't push anyone through. Her emergency services record had been cleared. Instead of returning to an ambulance, she trained as a patient advocate. She still worked some evening shifts, but now she sat beside frightened mothers before anyone handed them a form. Ruth ran the pantry. Anyone who denied hunger left with soup, bread, and 2 peppermints. June volunteered in the records room. Some families thanked her for coming forward. Some could not bear to look at her. She accepted both responses. Each morning she placed Caroline's paper bird beside the ledger and did the next honest thing. Eleanor pled guilty to obstruction and received community service and probation. Ethan visited her once a month, usually alone. He did not punish Lily by forbidding love, and he did not force Hannah to offer forgiveness. Hale wrote Hannah from prison. His letter filled 12 pages with explanations and ended with a request for mercy. Hannah sent back one sentence: "I hope you become honest even if I never forgive you." She did not know whether forgiveness would come. Healing no longer required her to lie about that. Ethan never returned as chief executive. He sold enough shares to protect the employees, then used his voting power to place workers on the board. For the first time, his decisions were not attempts to control every ending. On Saturday mornings he made pancakes at Hannah's apartment above a different, quieter shop. His pancakes were terrible. Lily ate them anyway. Love entered slowly without a contract or rescue. It appeared when Ethan learned the exact time of Ruth's medicine. It appeared when Hannah sat beside him on Caroline's birthday without filling the silence. It appeared when they disagreed about Lily's school, apologized, and discovered that staying was more important than winning. Ethan proposed in the Caroline house kitchen with flour on his sleeve. Hannah looked at the ring, then at Lily hiding badly behind the pantry door. "Is this your plan?" Hannah asked. Lily stepped out. "My suggestion." His plan had a helicopter. Hannah laughed until she cried. Then she told Ethan yes, but only after he promised the wedding would be small. They married in the old chapel. Marta placed electric candles along the aisle. June sat with Ruth. A photograph of Caroline rested near the altar, not polished into a saint, not hidden like a shameful secret, simply remembered whole. Lily carried the 2 yellow booties tied to her bouquet. At the reception, a waiter offered Ethan champagne. Lily hurried over and wrapped both arms around Hannah. "That's my mommy," she announced with a grin. The room went quiet for half a heartbeat. Ethan held his glass carefully this time. "Yes," he said. "She is." Lily took his hand too. "And that's my dad." Hannah thought of the first gala when those words had shattered a room. Now they repaired one. Before leaving, Lily placed the yellow booties in a glass case at Caroline House. Beneath them was a plaque she had written herself. "One woman made them. One woman carried them. 2 people kept one each until I brought them together." Visitors often paused there and debated who deserved to be called a real parent: the mother who never stopped grieving, the father who stayed, or the woman whose love was tangled with fear. Lily never chose between them. She had learned what the adults nearly missed: family is not proven by money, perfection, or even blood alone. It is proven whenever someone stops asking, "Who gets to keep this child?" and begins asking, "What will help this child feel whole?" Some lives are changed by the truth. The luckiest ones are changed by what people choose to do after it.